I've spent a lot of time thinking about what the word audacity really means. We all use it casually, toss it into conversation like it's nothing, but actually seeing it embodied, fully realized, in its most shameless, unfiltered, jaw-slackening form. That's rare. A blessing, maybe, or a curse, depends on who you ask. My unforgettable encounter with Brenda Periwinkle, self-crowned ruler of the prestigious Kynes Homeowners Association, gave me a front row seat to exactly that kind of audacity. And honestly, Kai, even now, it still makes me laugh and shake my head. Before we get into it, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from, because the tale of how Brenda tried to stretch her HOA authority far beyond its borders only to end up on the wrong side of handcuffs, courtesy of my own son, is one worth settling in for. It began, as many things do, with a dream, a modest one. I wanted a home where the shade of my mailbox wasn't a subject for committee review, and where grass length didn't invite formal hearings. After 5 long years in prestigious Pines, name that, in hindsight, was a masterclass, and irony was finally getting out. Brenda Periwinkle was the main reason, or President Periwinkle, as she demanded everyone call her, even people who remembered her braces and unfortunate eyebrow phase. She ruled prestigious Pines like a personal fiefdom, clutching the CCRs like a royal scepter and issuing decrees through the HOA newsletter as if it were sacred scripture. She had a particular look, chin tilted just slightly upward, nose a bit too long for comfort, lips permanently pinched in disapproval, oversized designer sunglasses, usually questionable knockoffs, judging by the peeling gold, completed the ensemble. Her preferred mode of transportation was a pearlescent white Escalade, drenched in chrome, gliding through cul-de-sacs at a predatory crawl while she hunted violations like a hawk spotting prey. My offenses were laughable. A garden gnome deemed visually disruptive. A basketball hoop left out 20 minutes past the arbitrarily defined storage deadline. And finally, the fatal sin, a politely worded request that I repaint my front door. The blue I'd chosen was, apparently, too vibrant for the community's refined palette, a palette consisting almost entirely of beige, taupe, grige, and, if one felt daring, a slightly darker beige. The day I signed papers on my new HOA cozy bungalow, sitting on 3 glorious acres, just over 2 miles outside prestigious Pines, was one of the happiest days of my life. There was a babbling brook, mature oaks, and, most importantly, no HOA, or so I thought. The property boundaries were crystal clear. I'd paid for a fresh server, not because I expected trouble, but because I'm a details person. Years as a logistics coordinator taught me the value of clean lines and precise measurements. That attention to detail would soon become my armor. Moving day arrived bright and chaotic. Boxes everywhere. Tape rolls disappearing. Movers laughing and sweating. By early afternoon, the truck was nearly empty when I saw it, the unmistakable gleam of pearlescent white and excessive chrome, creeping along the county road near my driveway. My stomach dropped. Brenda, sunglasses on, completely out of place against my slightly wild, rustic paradise. She didn't stop, just slowed, head turning slowly as she cataloged everything. The unpacked boxes, the long grass I already adored, the defiantly blue welcome mat at my door. It was a look that promised future trouble. I told myself she might be lost. A laughable thought. Brenda knew every inch of a 10-mile radius, especially if a violation might be lurking. 2 days later, there was no ambiguity. I was outside wrestling a stubborn rosebush when the Escalade crawled past again and came nearly to a stop across from my driveway. The tinted windows slid down. There was Brenda, contempt barely concealed, just admiring the local color. She called, voice dripping with sweetened disdain. Quite a change from prestigious Pines, isn't it? I suppose that's the point, I replied evenly. Her lips twitched into a humorless smile before the window rose again. She lingered there, engine idling, radiating disapproval like a heat lamp. A territorial display from someone who hadn't realized she was far from her kingdom. That night, I walked my entire property line again, survey map in hand. I photographed markers, measured distances, and logged everything. A quiet instinct told me this was only beginning. Later, my son Michael called. He's a deputy with the county sheriff's department and had been thrilled about my escape from Brenda's reign. "So, Mom," he asked warmly, "how does freedom feel?" "It's mostly wonderful," I laughed, "though Brenda doesn't seem ready to let go." Michael sighed. "Sounds like her. She's legendary at the station. Parking complaints, law ornaments, imaginary violations. But she has zero authority where you are now. Zero." He was right. Logically. But logic has never slowed Brenda Periwinkle. The next morning, while sipping coffee on my HOA free porch, I found a flyer tucked into my mailbox. Lawn care at Accept. Folded inside was a laser-printed note on prestigious Pines letterhead. A friendly reminder. It politely suggested that while HOA rules didn't officially apply to adjacent properties, a considerate neighbor would maintain visual harmony for the greater community. Overgrowth, unkempt appearances, or garish displays, it warned, could impact property values. "No signature necessary," screamed Brenda. She'd trespassed to deliver it. I bagged the flyer carefully. Evidence number 1. From there, her harassment followed a predictable pattern. Daily drive-bys, long pauses on the roadside, surveillance disguised as concern. Once, while I joyfully planted tomatoes in unforgivable sin in prestigious Pines, Brenda appeared at my fence, notepad in hand. "Disturbing native soil?" she asked, coolly. "I'm planting vegetables," I replied. She sniffed. "Vermin don't respect property lines." I straightened. "Neither does your jurisdiction, Brenda." Her eyes narrowed. "Some boundaries are moral." I almost laughed. After that, I installed discrete cameras and started a log. Dates, times, duration, comments. I wasn't reacting. Jai was documenting. She escalated. Code enforcement, animal control, anonymous complaints. Each visit went nowhere. Each one was logged. The breaking point came on a windy Tuesday when I hired an arborist to trim a dead oak. Gus, the arborist, was mid-job when Brenda arrived, yelling, gesturing, blocking the road with her Escalade. Then she did it. She pulled out her phone and called the sheriff, reporting false road obstruction and illegal commercial activity. Right in front of witnesses. That's when I knew deputies arrived. Brenda performed. Facts were checked. Her story unraveled. And then my son Michael arrived in an unmarked unit. She thought she'd won. Instead, she confessed piece by piece to making a false report. Deputy Miller's voice was calm when he said the words Brenda Periwinkle had never expected to hear. "You are under arrest for making a false report to law enforcement." Handcuffs clicked. Her designer knockoff purse hit the gravel. Her empire collapsed in real time as a patrol car drove away. Gus whistled. Well, that's one way to handle a neighbor. Life after Brenda was peaceful. Tomatoes flourished. Birds gathered. The Escalade never returned. Brenda resigned. Prestigious Pines softened. Even a pink flamingo appeared. And me. I finally lived free on my land, under my rules. Because sometimes, if you stay calm and let bullies overplay their hand, they build their own downfall. So that's the story of how HOA President Brenda Periwinkle tried to rule beyond her bordersand, paid the price. If you've ever had an HOA nightmare, tell me in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories where everyday people win.